Let us review forceful practice instructions and then meditate like a Jedi. So let's try an experiment. I'm going to try button 5 for the jumbo cam work. Look. And what I'd like to do is read to you from Original Perfection, translated by Keith Dowman. It contains 5 texts, and I would like to read you from Pure Golden Ore. Specifically, the second passage. As the basis of all disciplines, such as moral conduct, luminous mind provides release in its every mode. It is Buddha's mother and the universal path. Without it, Buddha could not come into being. I am the way of supreme liberation. Karma Chokme said that the essence of morality was simply nonviolence. That makes perfect sense when considering that 50% of the Buddha's Eightfold Path describes loving kindness. Loving kindness of mental, interpersonal, physical, and circumstantial, but still loving kindness. The author infers, and neuroscience confirms, that when we practice mindfulness and meditation authentically, passively, vulnerably, viscerally, randomly, and fleetingly, in harmony with our autonomic nervous system, something special happens. And to illustrate that, I'm going to tap button 9 and show you some diagrams of our central nervous system. Let's go over here. One, 2. So when we cooperate with the sympathetic facet and the parasympathetic facet of the spinal cord, that is the nexus of our autonomic nervous system, we find that our amygdala, the seat of anxiety and aggression, is calmed. We also find that our anterior cingulate gyrus, the seat of empathy, is gently stimulated. So if empathy, loving kindness, compassion is the essence of morality and the dynamo which makes the highest love accessible, which is spontaneous and uncontrived, then through the transitive property of equality that says if A equals B and B equals C, then A equals C, it is the mindfulness and meditation wherein we cooperate with our sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous systems that is the key that opens the door to the vault of empathy, the essence of morality. In a later passage of another text, the author explains that the essence of our vows is simply delighting in the vulnerable and effortless practice of mindfulness and meditation. As the basis of all disciplines, such as moral conduct, luminous mind provides release in its every mode. So luminous mind is can be a metaphor for mindfulness, for authentic mindfulness and meditation. It's Buddha's mother and the universal path. So Buddha's mother is figurative, and what it means is that mastery of the seventh and eighth folds of the Eightfold Path, mastery of mindfulness and meditation, mastery of passively cooperating with our autonomic nervous system, is the fulfillment of all vows. In the seed, or the source, once again, of all wisdom, of all love, and the expedient means of effortless effort, or the flow state, sometimes described as Wu Wei. Without it, Buddha could not come into being. I am the way of supreme liberation. The outer teacher serves only to help us find the inner teacher. The more we authentically practice mindfulness and meditation, the more our choices and utterances and deeds flow from love's centered spontaneity. The most delicious irony of all is that all that we can perceive, emote, intend, reason, recall, and imagine, all of it, from the convenient to the inconvenient, from the external to the internal, from the physical to the mental, from the pleasurable to the painful, from the interesting to the boring, from the glorious to the grotesque, all of it is fuel that turns the gears of our metaphoric enlightenment machine. Anything that we can notice, anything that we can relax into, serves us on the spiritual path. Whether we are healthy or sick, whether we are alone or with companions, whether we are rich or poor, whether we are happy or sad, all our circumstances serve us on the path. On the path of duality, we're continually pushing away circumstances that undermine Dharma practice and are forever reaching for circumstances that we feel will be conducive. But from the highest point of view, whatever we encounter, as we relax into our exhalation, whatever advantages or disadvantages we perceived during our previous inhalation could feel as if they were melting into the simplicity of mental energy. And that's a good place to end. Having completed the opening lesson, we could now shift gears. It is Ahsoka Tano mid-morning. At least it is here in my corner of the globe. Welcome, my friends, to, let's try this again. Come, let us meditate like a Jedi. After about 30 seconds of housekeeping, this is the Dzogchen Semde Lama Jigme Gyatso of the Buddha Joy Meditation School. For more than 30 years, I have harnessed my autistic special interests as well as my ADHD hyperfocus to spend about 8 hours a day, almost every day, studying, practicing, mastering, and reverse engineering the teachings and techniques of each school of meditation, so that I could become your personal, nerdy, neurodivergent guide to nirvana. Welcome, my friends, to Meditate Like a Jedi, which is made possible due to the generosity of viewers, just like you. The key to vulnerably cooperating with our sympathetic nervous system is to silently and mentally recite the demonstrative pronoun this each time we feel our chest swell with breath. The key to vulnerably cooperating with our parasympathetic nervous system is to silently and mentally recite the verb rest each time we feel our chest subtly sink as gently we exhale. The free fall of meditation can feel deeply jarring for those of us who were raised and conditioned to indulge our controlling tendencies. A wonderful end run around this situation is for us to practice a variation of Bengali crease counting. We could touch the tip of our left thumb to the lowest set of creases upon our left little finger. This is how we could keep track of our first set of 16 inhalations. Let's rest this left hand palms up in our lap. Every time we silently and mentally recite the demonstrative pronoun this during our inhalation, we could advance our right thumb up the creases and tips of each of its fingers. Together, let us practice right now, beginning with our little finger. As you can tell, I've run out of places on my right hand upon which to rest my thumb. That signals it's time to advance the left thumb up to the second set of creases on this little finger. And there you go. And now you get the kind of basic feel of how we can count 16 sets of 16 inhalations. Doing so takes a little more than 20 minutes. Most people would rather meditate for longer than 20 minutes, if not immediately, then perhaps gradually, eventually. To do this, we count multiple collections of 16 sets of 16 inhalations. To do that, we rely upon the knuckles on the back of our right middle finger. For instance, for this first collection of 16 sets of 16 inhalations, we could rest that first knuckle upon the tip of our left middle finger, palms up, in our lap. Yes, this could feel ungainly and complicated and perhaps a little overwhelming. The antidote for such overwhelm is repetition. Join me once every 12 hours or so, and within a week or two, this path you could master. The fourth enlightenment factor is joy. I'm so grateful that multiple teachers have taught me this following hack for joy. When counting, when the tip of our right thumb advances to the lowest set of creases on this little finger, while silently and mentally we recite the demonstrative pronoun this, we could fleetingly, gently notice the corners of our lips. When we advance our thumb during our next inhalation, we could fleetingly, gently notice the apples of our cheeks. When our thumb advances during our third inhalation, we can gently notice the crow's feet of our eyes. When it advances a fourth time, we could remember to coordinate the erection of our posture with our inhalation, which is the key to the third enlightenment factor of energy. During the remaining 12 inhalations, we can gently notice our chest as it swells and sinks in harmony with our respiration. This is not concentration. This is noticing vulnerably, passively, viscerally, randomly, and fleetingly. We welcome noticing other things randomly. Be they, perhaps that is why the final verse of the passage I shared this morning read, I am the path. My circumstances are the path of enlightenment. My body is the path of enlightenment. My relationships are the path of enlightenment. My mind is the path of enlightenment. It is not to be sought elsewhere. The moment you have a specific question about Taoist or Buddhist or Dzogchen or Mahamudra, philosophy or meditation, do not hesitate to type your question in great detail in the chat window, for I tend to check for questions every 5 minutes or so. You have taken your first step into a much larger world. If you feel that I have earned it, you could give this live stream a thumbs up. You could even help support this channel. In about 3 hours, I would very much like to lead today's third session of Meditating Like a Jedi. And if you are as geeky as me, may the Force be with you always.